Well, I was about 17 and some mates and me went to a party and we had quite a lot to drink. And then some fellas there started handing cheese around. And, well, just out of curiosity, I tried a bit. And, well, that was that. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. The auto bailout appears to have stalled in the Senate, but this is just a show, an act, in the same way that it has been going on for the last couple of weeks. I find it rather astonishing that you have congressional representatives who routinely and flagrantly disregard what their constituents want vis-a-vis the fucking financial industry bailout. And then all of a sudden you have them so keen to control the outcome of some particular matter. Every once in a while they have to pretend like they give a shit about you and me. And apparently the auto industry is one of those times where they have to pretend like they give a shit about what you and I think. Never mind that they did not even have 10 seconds of fucking talk about the financial industry bailout. Never fucking mind that. Okay? There you had 700 billion, which in reality is well over 7 trillion. They don't even talk one fucking word about it. Not a minute of fucking debate. And over here on this side you have 14, 18, 25, 34 billion, whatever it's going to turn out to be, amount, which is minuscule compared to the other, and they're nitpicking their asses off about it. Can we put two and two together here in some fashion and try to figure out what is the fucking problem? Give away 700 billion, really over $7 trillion to the financial industry without any fucking oversight, no goddamn talking about it, no debate, nothing, ignoring the constituents and quibbling, on the other hand, about a comparative measly 14 to 34 billion dollars for the auto industry. I'm not saying the auto industry should be bailed out. I'm saying fucking Congress has got a real fucking problem. How about Governor Blagojevich in Illinois, in the middle of a corruption scandal, supposedly selling the Senate seat that Obama relinquished when he ran for the U.S. Senate. This is just indicative of Illinois politics, Chicago politics, more of the same machine politics out of that area. This is going to be something that is going to plague Obama. He's never going to have to answer for it, just like he's never going to have to answer for anything that comes up about him. He'll continue to be the Messiah. There will be other whipping boys that people can throw their anger against. But he's denied any involvement and denied any wrongdoing in anything that's happened in regards to Blagojevich's actions. But, you know, denying that is like saying you can take a walk through a house filled with shit and come out on the other side sparkling clean. So I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. In order to come up through that system, you have to be touched by it, you have to be helped by it, and that way you are tainted by it. So Obama, in my mind, automatically tainted. So in some fashion or another, he has been tainted by that scandal. No matter what he says, that's what I believe, and that's what I think is the truth. Bank of America is cutting jobs. It turns out, thanks to an earlier commenter on one of my other videos, pointed out that Bank of America was the bank that was supposed to finance the company in Chicago that had to go out of business because they couldn't get the loans from Bank of America, which refused to lend to them, even though they were counting on those loans in order to meet their payroll and other functioning purposes of the company. So, in effect, Bank of America caused the Chicago company to fail, which then caused the workers to lose their job, which then caused them to take over the plant there in Chicago. And ultimately, this is Bank of America's fault. And the idea of the credit market supposedly being freed by use of this money is a total fraud. It's a total fucking fraud. Every cent of the money that has gone to every one of these financial institutions has gone for the purpose of shoring up their bottom line and buying out smaller and other concerns. to make themselves bigger and richer and better. If they were going to address the credit issue, it would have been made a matter of law. Whenever they got the money, they had to lend. Period. This did not happen. What does that tell you? That was never the intention in the first place. So, what was the intention? I wonder if the fucking intention was exactly what we have right now. Not being used to free up the credit market. Never was intended to be used for that. So don't shake your heads and wonder why. Zimbabwe is on the brink of total collapse, just like South Africa before it. Mugabe is totally fucking insane, a complete fucking moronic idiot. Refuses to accept the fact that his country is facing a cholera epidemic, and refuses to see that there are thousands of people being horribly murdered, killed, and their property taken away from them in just horrific violence. Apparently Zimbabwe went to the American school of politicians, just like Blagojevich, because Blagojevich goes back to his office and pretends like, oh, nothing's happened, don't look over here, no scandals my way, just sit in my office. That's what galls me. That's what galls me about Mugabe. That's what galls me about Blagojevich. Here you have these people, they're sitting there pretending like nothing is fucking happening. I guess if the whole fucking place caved in on their fucking head, they'd just hold up an umbrella and pretend like nothing was fucking happening. Well, good luck with that. Let's see how it works for you. Deadly violence in Iraq as a suicide bomber kills many. Just another focus for why U.S. troops should remain there. Not what I think, but what is being laid out as propaganda for you, the American public. And this will justify, of course, a continued presence of U.S. forces there, which is something that Obama is going to do, despite his claims to want to get people out of Iraq, and that was what he was running under when he ran for president. And so that's just one of his many betrayals. This is another propaganda exercise meant to keep U.S. troops there. You have the so-called lawless Wild West area of Pakistan was also hit by U.S. forces. Some people were killed there. This is supposedly the base for Al Queda and the Taliban, and apparently any other boogeyman that you ever want to have. If Osama bin Laden is still alive, which I really doubt, he's only living because the U.S. wants him alive. If the Taliban is still together as an active real force, they're only still together as an active real force because the U.S. government wants them to be. They serve a purpose. Al Queda, Osama bin Laden, the Taliban all serve a purpose. They're boogeymen. Bring them out of the closet occasionally. Show them so people are scared, run and hide, and want the government to do something about it. Okay? They only exist to the extent that we allow them to exist. If we wanted them gone, they'd be gone. But right now we have a new focus, and that's Pakistan. So the so-called lawless tribal areas is where all of the boogeymen lie. So if you have any boogeymen, that's where they are. I wanted to make one final comment before I'm done, and that is about the Constitutional Convention, which I've been hearing a lot about. And this is something that apparently there are only a couple states more that are needed in order to call a constitutional convention. I would say this would be a really great thing if we had people in on the ground floor on this, and people in place to see that real issues were addressed and possibly real and important changes made. But since we don't, I think it's very important for everybody out there, including myself, to do as much homework as we can on this subject in order to get to the bottom of it, find out exactly what's going on and where the movement is designed to go, and see what we can do. If it needs to be stopped, to stop it. If it needs to be redirected, redirect it, and do what we can on that front. So do some reading up on that. That's what I'm going to do, and find out and see what we can do to effect some change in that area if indeed that is what's necessary. So thank you. Good night.